Ever check your account the day after payday and feel like someone snuck in overnight and emptied it? You make decent money. On paper, you are fine, and yet you are still counting days to the next deposit. That is not because you are bad with money or lazy. Your paycheck was never built to set you free. It was built to keep you showing up on Monday. That is a plumbing problem, not a character problem, and plumbing you can fix. Hey, I'm Richard. On this channel, I break down money moves for regular people, not the Wall Street crowd, not trust fund kids, just real strategies you can actually use this week. If that's your kind of channel, hit subscribe and stick around. Let me start with the lie almost everybody believes, that income equals wealth. They are not even cousins. Income is the kitchen faucet. Hold the handle and water flows. Walk away and it stops. Wealth is the well in the backyard that fills itself whether you are home, asleep, or on a beach. On any list of the richest people, there is no column for hardest worker, just founders, investors, landlords, people who own things that earn while they nap. Jeff Bezos did not get rich because Amazon paid him well. He got rich because he owned the thing. Income is what you trade your hours for. Wealth is what keeps working after you clock out. When every dollar you make is already spoken for by next month's bills, you are not building anything. You are renting your own life from your boss. The shift is when you stop asking, "How do I make more?" and start asking, "What do I own?" Own skills that climb, assets that grow, little money machines that spit out cash. Until you own something, something owns you. And that credit card balance is the neighbor who quietly walks into your house every month and carries out your furniture while you wave hello. Here is why most people fail. They rely on willpower, and willpower is a terrible employee. Discipline is like a phone battery. You wake up at 100% and every choice drains it. Save or spend. Invest or treat myself. By dinner, you are at 4%. So you order takeout and buy the thing. Wealthy folks were not issued better batteries. They stopped relying on the battery and built systems. They decide once, set it up, and let it run. That is what the 20-10-60-10 rule does. It is not about earning more today. It is about aiming the money you already have like a garden hose instead of letting it spray everywhere. 20% goes to growth, the stuff that multiplies. Investments and skills and assets. 10% goes to stability, your shock absorber for when life throws a pothole. 60% covers the real essentials, the actual cost of being alive, not the puffed-up version. And 10% is pure fun money, guilt-free, the stuff that keeps you from snapping. This works on $2,000 a month and on $10,000. The percentages stretch or shrink, the structure never moves. Most people run it backwards. They spend first, save the crumbs, and invest never. This flips it. You pay your future self first, protect yourself second, live third, have fun fourth. That 20% is the difference between still clocking in at 70 and having real choices at 50. Pay yourself first is a procedure, not a slogan. Spending is like air in a balloon. It expands to fill whatever space you give it. So if you wait until the end of the month to invest the leftovers, I promise there are no leftovers. You yank it out before you feel it. The day your paycheck lands, an automatic transfer fires, and that growth money is gone before your brain ever spends it. And time beats size every single time. Take two friends. Pete starts at 25, puts in $500 a month, and stops at 35. Mike waits, starts at 35, and puts in $500 a month all the way to 65, 30 straight years. By 65, Pete, the guy who quit decades earlier, comes out ahead. That is compounding, your money making babies while you sleep. Starting small today beats starting big someday. So where does that 20% land? Picture a staircase. You start on the safe bottom step and climb as you get steady. The bottom is the boring stuff. High-yield savings and government bonds. Low risk, low return. But you grab the cash instantly, and it beats a regular savings account. Next step, index funds and ETFs. A tiny slice of the entire market in one go instead of betting your rent on one company. The S&P 500 has averaged around 10% a year over the long haul. You are not trying to outsmart the market, just quietly ride along with it. But the best investment on the whole staircase is you. A high-income skill is the fastest accelerator there is. Learn copywriting, sales, coding, video editing, marketing. A $2,000 course that bumps your earning power by $20,000 a year is a 10 times return in the first 12 months, and no stock does that on schedule. After that, real estate through REITs, where you own a slice of a property portfolio for the price of one share and collect rent-style dividends with no tenant calling at midnight about a leaky toilet. Then, actual stocks, not meme tickers, just companies you understand and think will still exist in 20 years. Think boring, utilities, healthcare, the stuff in every grocery cart, spread across industries and held through the scary dips, because wealth comes from time in the market, not timing it. Higher up, for folks with a solid base and a strong stomach, online businesses, and income not chained to your hours. But build the foundation first. At the top, the wobbly step, Bitcoin, gold, collectibles, big swings, and big homework. If you cannot explain in one sentence why a thing has value, you are gambling with extra steps. Now a gut check, because none of this matters if it stays an idea in your head. A plan you never run has nothing to do with being smart. It is about removing friction. Set the transfer for the day your income hits, not when you remember or feel inspired, because inspiration is the flakiest friend you have. But moving the money is only half of it, because cash sitting in a brokerage account is like buying groceries and leaving them in the trunk to rot. The transfer should pull the trigger on the actual purchase. Income lands, money moves. Assets bought, hands free. Then point your real energy at the big lever, earning more. Wealthy people do not lie awake shaving 2% off the grocery bill. They obsess over growing income by 20, 50, 100%. A system on $4,000 a month is nice. The same system on $8,000 changes your life. Now the part that quietly wrecks people. They think they have a money problem. They have a stability problem. One blown transmission turns into a credit card balance. One surprise medical bill flushes 6 months of progress. That is what the first 10% is for. It is not an investment and is not meant to grow. It is the spare tire in the trunk, there for when you blow out on the highway. When the market drops 30% and you suddenly need $3,000, you do not sell your investments at the worst moment. You pull from stability. Here is how you size it. Add up your true monthly essentials: rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payments, and multiply by 5 or 6. If essentials run $2,500 a month, your target is $12,500 to $15,000 in this fund. Keep it somewhere you can reach instantly with a small, reliable yield. A high-yield savings account is perfect, paying around 4% in a lot of cases right now, which keeps it from melting like ice cream in the sun thanks to inflation. Money market funds work too. Building it takes a while. That is fine. Automate little transfers. Even $100 or $200 a month stacks up. But the iron rule, the second you dip in, you refill it. Like a loan from yourself, paid back before anything else. Some people use roundup apps that bank the spare change on every purchase, painless and weirdly effective. This fund never makes you rich. It just makes sure life cannot make you broke, and life always takes a swing eventually. This is where people lose without knowing they are playing. The raise comes in, and the same week they upgrade the apartment and finance a shinier car because they earned it. Income goes up, lifestyle marches up behind it. And somehow, they are just as stressed at 80 grand as at 40. That is lifestyle inflation, the silent wealth killer. like a houseguest who eats a little more every day until the fridge is empty. Looking rich and being wealthy are opposites. One is a costume, the other is a set of options. The guy in the leased BMW with $400 in savings is not winning, he is performing, and that show is expensive. The 60% cap forces you to get honest. What is a real essential? Housing, food, getting around, utilities, insurance? Everything else is a luxury wearing a necessity costume. You do not need the premium cable bundle or the fancy label groceries when the store brand is the same beans. And you for sure do not need a car payment swallowing 20% of your income. Living below your means is not punishment, it is strategy. And capping essentials at 60% forces better questions, like, do I need a bigger place? Or am I just trying to impress people I do not even like? The two heavyweight wealth killers are housing and transportation. People stretch for the biggest mortgage the bank will hand them, then act shocked they cannot save. They finance cars they cannot afford because the monthly number feels gentle, until they are chained to it for 6 years. Say you make $5,000 a month, so your essentials cap is $3,000. If rent is $1,800 and the car payment is $500, you have burned 77% of your essential budget before a single egg or the power bill. That is not wealth building, that is servicing lifestyle debt. You can cut without feeling poor. Downsize on purpose. A smaller place in the same neighborhood costs less and forces you to own less junk. Buy a reliable used car instead of financing new. A $12,000 used Toyota runs for a decade. A $40,000 financed SUV ends up costing $50,000 plus with interest and keeps you broke the whole time. And fixed costs are brutal long-term. A $400 car payment for 10 years is $48,000. Drop that same money into investments at 8% and it becomes $73,000. So you are not choosing between a nice car and a boring car. You are choosing between a car and your freedom. Systems beat willpower here too. Make any non-essential over $100 wait 48 hours, because the urge usually evaporates by morning. Use cash for fun spending, since handing over real bills hurts more than tapping a card. Build a filter, like, I only buy it if I have wanted it 30 days, and it replaces something I own. The goal is not to live broke when you are not. It is to remember that every dollar spent on ego is stolen from your freedom. But cutting too hard backfires. Crash diet your spending and you rebound and binge out of pure resentment, same as any diet. That is why the last 10% exists. It is not a gold star. It is what keeps the whole system alive. This is your fun fund, ideally a separate account so it feels different. It is a percentage, not a fixed amount, so as you earn more, your guilt-free spending grows with you. Concerts, dinners, hobbies, a trip, no permission slip required. And experiences outlast objects. A dinner with friends becomes a story for years. A new gadget becomes clutter by spring. And when you have 10% set aside purely for joy, you stop feeling guilty. And once the guilt is gone, you stop making random impulse buys that never even felt good. You spend less overall because you are spending on purpose. So, picture where this lands you. You grow because that 20% compounds. Your skills push your income up, and your assets creep higher every month on autopilot. You are protected because the stability 10% makes a dead laptop or a surprise bill an annoying Tuesday, not a catastrophe that drags you into debt. And you stay sane because the fun 10% means you are living now instead of white-knuckling towards some far-off freedom that never arrives. It holds together because it was never built on suffering. You build all of this quietly, no flash to prove anything, because wealth was never the costume. It is options. The freedom to say no, the room to take a swing, the power to work because you want to, not because the rent has a gun to your head.
Not overnight, not with fireworks,
But if you let it run every day, staying broke stops being a worry and becomes basically impossible. So before the next one, chew on this. If you ran this split from your next paycheck, which slice would be hardest to leave alone? The growth or the fun? That answer shows where your money has been leaking. All right, that's it from me today. If this saved you a few bucks or just made the topic make sense, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel keep going. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.